Dana Schwartz, and this is Rise or Die, the official companion podcast for Peacock's original series, Those About to Die. On this podcast, I go behind the scenes with the show's cast and creators to learn how they brought their brutal vision of Rome to life.
Gosh, people will freak out.
Rise or Die launches on July 18th. Watch or listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone, so we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural then and now.
Hey, hello! Oh gosh, hey, hi. Before we get started, we just have a couple things to tell you about this episode.
Yes, well, a couple of things about this episode and a couple of things about, our work in general. One, we last season did a lot of lyric sheets. Every month we would write 5, sometimes 10 lyric sheets, and all of the profits from the sales of those lyric sheets went to a different organization. And so we haven't started that back up this season, but we hope to very soon. However, with everything going on in our country with immigration, we obviously felt we needed to do something. And so we did do handwritten lyric sheets. They sold out so quickly that we didn't even get to tell you on the podcast, which is incredible and wonderful. So we wanted to let you know that we raised $500 for Raíces, a nonprofit agency that promotes justice by providing free and low-cost legal services to underserved immigrant children, families, and refugees in Texas. So all of those lyric sheets are sold out. If we can, we'll add more, and we'll let you know as soon as we do. But for now, we're donating $500 because you are all wonderful. So thank you for, continuing to help us blend vampires, Buffy, and social justice. A good match overall.
Yeah, thank you all so much for your support. In other news, holy flipping crap. We have a new item in the store that I'm so excited about, which is the Smash the Demon Lizard Patriarchy diner mug, the only vessel from which I choose to drink coffee. Very satisfying, has a really nice heft to it. You could probably knock out a vampire if you accidentally invite one into your home and leave them temporarily concussed so that you can escape. That's how hefty these mugs are. We also have new Smash the Demon Lizard Patriarchy stickers and a whole bunch of other business. Wow. And we're also, are you ready for it, running a sale through July 8th. The sale code for 15% off everything in the store is, spoiler alert for a conversation that happens later in the episode, clothed nudes. That's CLOTHEDNUDES. If you just go to bufferingthevampireslayer.com and click on shop, you can see our wares, use that code, and be excited about diner mugs. Cool.
Yes, the sale goes through July 8th, like Jenny said. And also, just so you know, there are a handful of super limited items that are up. We had a few of the Be the Thing That Monsters Have Nightmares About shirt. Did I say that right?
You did a great job.
Okay. We had a handful of those left, so we put those up. They're super limited. I think there's 6 or 8 of them total. We had some prom mixtapes. They were cassette mixtapes that have wild horses twice on each side by the Sundays, of course.
The only song you need.
Yes. So those are up. Again, I think there's 10 of them total. And then once they're gone, they're gone. So there's a couple of fun little things like that up. And also the Buffy Faith zine is up
back in print.
Up for pre-order. Yeah, up for pre-order. So lots of fun stuff over there. Anyhow, a couple of calls, a call to action and then a related thing. You all have been transcribing our episodes for us. The effort has been led by our listener, Joel, but so many of you have participated, and we have almost all of seasons 1 and 2 complete. We would love to just reactivate you all to get through season 3. You can find out more about the transcriptions and that process at bufferingthevampireslayer.com/transcriptions. It's also where you will find all of the transcriptions. So for our hard of hearing and deaf audience members, they're able to participate with us. It's really wonderful. Thank you all for helping us. And if you have some time, jump in there and help. You can help for as long as you want. You know, it's a whole system in there where you can do 10% of the episode and then let people know where you left off and they can jump in and pick up for you. So relatedly, speaking of access, our New York City event is so soon. It's in 4 days. It's Sunday, July 8th at Littlefield in Brooklyn. So exciting. We're going to be doing a live taping of Beer Bad. We have Kathy Tu, Heather Hogan, and Louis Peitzman all guesting with us. It's sold out, and we want to just remind you all that the first 100 of you will get seats. I'm saying this because I wanted to make clear something that I didn't make clear the last time I talked about this. Access seating will, of course, be reserved. So if you were somebody who needs a seat, there will be a seat for you. I wanted to make that clear. And for the rest of you, if you are not one of the first 100, it will be standing room only, but it's going to be fun.
We'll be so entertaining, you won't even notice that you're standing up.
You won't even realize you're standing. A couple of little things. I was on a really fun podcast that came out this Monday called The Babysitters Club. You can find them over on Twitter and other social media at BSCC Podcast. I talked about Christy and the case of the missing child, a mystery, a Babysitters Club mystery.
Wow.
I talked a lot about Christy being at least bisexual and in love with Marianne. So I think there's something for everybody over there. It was real fun.
I can't wait to listen to that.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about any of the babysitters in the Babysitters Club.
Oh, wow. Well, Christy is certainly queer of some nature. It's
Noted.
It's a fact. That's just a fact.
It's canon.
I mean, like, not only is Christy a queer character, but also the author, Anne M. Martin, came out as queer like a couple years ago, maybe a year ago.
Bombshell.
So, yeah. I also just want to, since we're talking about other podcasts before we hop into our own podcast, I just wanted to give a shout out. I'm sure many of you know about this podcast already, but there is an incredible podcast done by two culture writers at the New York Times called Still Processing. And I feel like, you know, in this podcast, we touch on racial justice, we touch on sexuality, we touch on gender, we touch on like a lot of these things. And Still Processing, oh my God, the two hosts are brilliant. And the episode topics are incredible. I just listened to like 3 episodes the other day, one on Kanye West, which had me like in tears. It was so powerful.
Wow.
One on angry women, which talked about the interview, the Arrested Development interview and like that whole thing. Just like really, really relevant shit. And I think there's a lot of overlap. So if you want to know like what informs me right now as I talk about shit, you can go on over and check out Still Processing.
Wow. Well, listen, you're not the only person who can go around guesting on other people's podcasts.
True.
I was just on last week's episode of Angel on Top, our sister podcast with Brittany Ashley and Laura Zach.
Yes.
And I'm here to tell you that you should listen to that episode if you haven't. You should watch the episode of Angel, then you should listen to us talk about it, especially because now more than ever, because it's a crossover episode. Spike was in Sunnydale the previous week. Then he went to LA. He just loves Southern California. He can't get enough, and we can't get enough of talking about him. So please listen to that episode and every other episode of Angel on Top because it rules, and Brittany and Laura are so, so great.
Hell yes. I think that's about all we have. We've got some fun segments in this episode. We have Kate Leth, of course. It's a Halloween episode, so how could we ever be without Kate? And I think you'll enjoy her segment. We also have a segment at the end after the song with Chris Farron, who wrote this week's song with Jenny.
Hell yeah. Let's get into the episode.
Yes.
Hello and welcome to Buffering the Vampire Slayer, a podcast where we are watching every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, one by one, in chronological order, spoiler-free. I'm Jenny Owen Youngs.
And I'm Kristen Russo. And this week, you know, it's July. So we're talking about season 4, episode 4, Fear Itself, which is
the 4th of July episode?
The 4th of July episode.
Of course.
It's the Halloween episode. It's fine. Stay tuned at the end of this podcast every week for an original song written by us, recapping the Buffy episode we're discussing. Jenny, this song was not written by us at the end of this episode. Who was it written by?
This song was written by half of us,
yes.
Me, aka me, and a friend of the pod, America's gentle sweetheart, the one, the only, Chris Farron.
And if we're lucky, I think after the song, we have a special little segment.
Just a little chat, just a little window into the mind of an artist, portrait of the artist as a young, hot guy with glasses.
Yes. And unbeknownst to us, we continue to ask Chris to be on the episodes that take place in frat houses.
Of course.
So
his area of expertise.
Yes, of course.
If Chris was auditioning for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, his special talents, where Sarah Michelle Gellar listed ice skating,
yes,
Chris would list frat party stuff.
Commentary and/or songs.
Yes. Okay, so Fear itself, this very episode, was written by David Fury and directed by Tucker Gates. And originally
Who is
aired...
Tucker Gates?
I don't know.
I've never heard. Yeah, I've never heard.
It's a heck of a name. It sounds like Parker Abrams.
Tucker Gates is
like another guy working UCSD campus.
Anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine.
Just like new director alert, you know?
Yep. And it was originally aired on October 26th, 1999. The same week as all the other Halloween episodes of every other show.
Yes. Oh, gosh, I wish we had looked up what the other Halloween episodes of the other shows were. Like, what was Dawson's Creek up to this Halloween, you know? You let us know. BufferingTheVampireSlayer at gmail.com.
Dawson was probably Steven Spielberg for Halloween.
Oh, my God. Jenny.
Sorry. Brittany might know. We should ask her.
This is the one where on Halloween, Buffy and her friends find themselves trapped inside a haunted frat house, complete with real bats, zombies, and a terrifying demon.
Ooh.
Like on Halloween, Buffy and her friends find themselves trapped inside a haunted frat house. Isn't every frat house haunted?
Wow.
Is that rude?
Haunted by the ghost of the patriarchy?
Yeah.
The patriarchy! Just getting there nice and early.
Yeah. I mean, it's an episode in a frat house.
Yeah, no time wasted.
The last time we did an episode in a frat house, Jenny, we wrote a song with the lyric, Smash the Demon Lizard Patriarchy.
Sure.
So, you know, there could be another best-selling t-shirt.
The lyric was just, I got a scoop.
Of the demon.
A heaping scoop of the demon lizard patriarchy.
Right. I'm so sorry. But, you know, all I'm saying is that perhaps nestled in this episode will be another hit slogan for a new t-shirt.
Let's hope so. Okay. So it's pumpkin carving time.
It's pumpkin carving time. You said you had something to share with the group over there on your phone.
I've got something about VHS tapes.
Ooh, I have something about Dawson's Creek 1999 Halloween.
Hit it.
Okay. I'm just going to read you I watched Dawson's Creek when it was on, but like I don't remember things, but I'm going to read you the description of this episode. I want to say that like whoever writes the Buffy summaries on IMDb is nice and to the point. Whoever writes the plot summaries or the descriptions for Dawson's Creek is a little more verbose. So the 1999 Halloween episode of Dawson's Creek is called Escape from Witch Island. And it is the one where Dawson recruits Joey, Pacey, and Jen to be his guerrilla crew on a documentary for history class. So like already your Steven Spielberg costume is kind of on point.
Dawson!
About Witch Island, a local spot shrouded in mystery for its reputation of being haunted by witches. During their haunted by witches?
How dare you?
Yeah, excuse me. Mixing your metaphysics much? During their work, they are haunted by tall tales of witches and love lost that has Dawson and Joey questioning their failed romance. Spoilers for Dawson's Creek. And Jen and Pacey on considering a new kind of friendship. What does that mean? Back at school, Andy takes a new job on
who's Andy?
Cape Side's disciplinary committee a little too seriously when she tries taking back the halls of the outgoing students. What?
Yeah, that doesn't sound like anything to me.
Wow, let's see how many shows we can cross over in this. Anyway, you have something about VHS tapes before we get into this episode?
Right. Well, Buffy goes on her like whole monologue. Her like, life is pain.
We're in the episode
I was a
right
pumpkin. Now? It's just like right after her pumpkin monologue.
Okay.
So anything you have to say about her pumpkin monologue, lay it out, and then I'm gonna hit this.
I have like plenty to say before we get to her pumpkin monologue.
Before we get to her pumpkin monologue,
yes,
okay,
I have a couple of things. First of all, the previously on is. We already played the patriarchy jingle, but the previously on is just the patriarchy jingle. It is
what happened in the previously
on?
It's
a Parker montage.
Oh yeah,
it's like literally like
what are you
previously
doing?
On Parker. Another line from Parker. Some more Parker. Parker's wearing a new shirt.
Making a
Parker.
choice. Ew, and that like the way that she touches his upper arm.
You hate that?
I hate it.
I think Joanna in the last episode called it a shoulder meat cleave. It wasn't cleave, but it was something like that. So I wanted to just touch on the previously on. And I also, before we even get into the episode, I know everybody's like, get to it. But something happened, Jenny. You guessed it on the last episode of Angel on Top. And it was great. If you all have not been listening to Angel on Top, you should be. It's wonderful. And also, this last episode was my favorite so far. Like, I feel like...
Oh, thank you.
I mean, it didn't... Like, you were great, but it really had more to do with everyone. And
yeah.
I just feel like Laura and Brittany, like, we started our podcast and, like, nobody knew what it was. Everybody was like, what is this crazy thing?
Especially you and me.
Yes,
like, what are we doing?
Us. Like, we were just like, whatever. And everybody sort of like went on this growing journey with us. And I feel like, Laura and Brittany were like, we're 4 seasons in now to Buffering. So all of the people who listen to Buffering are like ready for this podcast, this new podcast to be like polished and everything it's going to be. But like, it's just being born. And so like, even in the 3 episodes that I've listened to, I've just been getting more and more excited because they're finding their groove, they're finding their thing, they're finding their voice. And I loved this episode. But when I was listening, I was like, my thought process was, I cannot believe that they talked about this whole episode and they didn't play the Spike jingle. And then, Jenny, I realized...
Turn that cruel mirror upon thyself.
I was like, oh my God, Joanna and I did the whole episode of Harsh Light of Day. And
the 2 biggest Spike fans I could think of.
Right? We were so overwhelmed by Spike that we forgot there even was a jingle, which is, I'm sure, what happened to the 3 of you.
Of course.
So, you know what? I don't care that this episode isn't a Spike episode.
All right.
We missed it on Angel on Top. We missed it on Buffering. We're playing the goddamn Spike jingle for all of you humans who listened and thought the same thing. What the hell is wrong with all of these girls?
Spike, I love you. Spike, so dreamy. Spike, your trench coat. Spike, I love you. Spike, your blackmail. Spike, peroxide.
Okay.
No, that was a sound for sore ears.
So so the Spike jingle, thank you very much. We're back to Halloween. We're back to the thing. The previous Lamb Parker, blah, blah, blah.
Woe is Buffy.
But Jenny, we start the fucking episode with the camera inside of a pumpkin, which
I'm for it.
Deserves a shout out. I mean, this was 1999. Had it ever been done before?
I mean, some of the best special effects on the show to date.
Now, Buffy, go ahead with her fucking pumpkin gut monologue.
You're entwined with others. You live in the sun, and then somebody comes along and hacks you off the vine and like carves into you and like pulls all of your innards out and possibly bakes them on a tray to snack on later. And meanwhile, they cut a face in your body.
Wow.
I mean, I went a little farther than her, but
she
does that whole deal.
Yeah.
And it's intense. We're very in tune with Buffy's emotional state.
As she's like squelching?
Squelching, I think, is the technical.
I was trying to make up
Latin.
a word that would be the sound that it would make, but squelching.
Well, maybe squelching.
Squelching seems like
it's squashing and squelching together.
Squelching the pumpkin guts disgustingly. Or, I didn't mean to yuck your yum, Jenny. I'm sorry. So what does this have to do with VHS tapes?
Okay, well, immediately afterwards, Xander's like, can't wait to spook you all when we watch Fantasia.
Right.
Okay, and he's like, oh, I meant to get Phantasm, but here's the thing. I had a very clear memory of the horror rack at my local video rental store from when I was a kid. Phantasm, the horror movie, starts with a PH. If Xander was trying to rent Phantasm with an F, he was trying to rent a 1976 softcore pornographic film directed by Richard Franklin under a pseudonym. It was followed by a sequel, Phantasm Comes Again, the following year.
C-U-M?
C-O-M-E-S.
Okay.
But that is still the thing.
Right.
Directed by a pseudonymous Colin Eggleston. And listen.
Wow.
The plot is German psychiatrist Professor Jürgen Notefreud takes the audience through a series of female sexual fantasies, including sex in a beauty salon.
That's mine. Top one.
Fruit fetishism.
Wow.
Lesbianism in a sauna.
my God.
And teacher-student seduction.
Wow.
There's other stuff that is not okay to talk about.
Only females fantasize
Those are,
about
of course, all female, only female fantasies.
Fruit
fetishism?
Fetishism.
Lesbianism in a sauna is my favorite.
Yeah.
Is the sauna the one that's hot or wet?
Hot.
I mean, dry
and they're
or
both
wet?
hot, but no, yeah, hot. It's
Sauna is dry.
It's dry. It's hot and dry.
Yeah, hot, dry lesbianism. My favorite kind.
Oh my God, I can't believe how deep you got on that fucking journey. Incredible. I'm so impressed. Also, okay, here's the thing about the VHS tapes too, right? Is that when you got the wrong VHS tape, the cover was right and the tape inside was wrong. Like you think that he didn't notice?
I think what you do is you would take the VHS cover up to the counter and then it'd be like, here's your generic like Blockbuster or
right. But Xander didn't open it. He didn't open it. He just looked at the case and was like, Fantasia.
Yeah, but they're right next to each other. So the person just probably grabbed the fictitious person in the video store I made up has a wild shelving system that I believe is the truth, which is just alphabetized spines.
Man. This is going to be a long episode. We talked for an hour about female fantasies. Dry, hot, lesbian sex.
Cool. So anyway, nobody told Xander about the frat party.
Yeah, but also, can we talk about what Buffy does with her gut-covered hand that no one sees? Like, she's like, her hands are in the guts of the pumpkin. Maybe I looked away for a second and she like wiped it off, but I don't think so. She puts her gut hand on the bed, then she drapes her jacket over her gut hand. Has anyone touched a pumpkin gut in this room? Because
it's wet and sticky.
Right.
Sticky
it's the
forever.
opposite of the lesbian
yes,
sauna
precisely.
Scene.
If you're going to have a lesbian sauna scene, you're going to want to have a lot of gutted pumpkins on hand as well.
Oh, God, this is getting dark.
To counteract the... right. So gross, Buffy, wash your hands.
Yes. Also, my note about Oz in this scene is Oz is so Oz in this scene. He just has like one Oz line after the next.
Yeah. Post-Parker depression.
Post-Parker depression being the cherry
and the thing about the
nose. Yeah, he just goes for it.
Yep, going hard.
Okay. So before we get to the credits,
Buffy's moping down State Street. She's like, I wish I packed my overalls of sadness for this journey down State Street, but I forgot them.
Yeah, and this costumed demon jumps out and Buffy punches him in the face. And he pulls his mask off and he's like, harsh, or like whatever he says.
He was like, what's wrong with you, lady?
Yeah, but you know what? God damn it. She's a lady walking alone on Main Street, and your ass just jumped out and fucking scared the shit out of her. So maybe you should learn one or two things about something that we already played the jingle for, but I'll play it again. You know what? I'll set a record today. Play it, Jenny.
The patriarchy!
But Buffy isn't like the patriarchy. Buffy's like, what's wrong with me? That's what I'd like to know. She's like ready to make a Shangri-La's single right there in the street.
She really is.
Little spoken word, little self-loathing.
Mm-hmm. God, her and Angel really had.
I know they were kind of perfect together when you think about it in a particular way.
Like it's just like how many times do you think Angel sulked down Main Street?
Oh, State Street.
State Street, sorry. Sunnydale's Main Street.
Meanwhile, in other people's lives, not everything is about Parker and Buffy's gaping abyss of sadness.
Yes, when we get back from the credits, we're in the lunchroom. The beautiful...
Dining hall?
Oh, sorry.
It used to be the lunchroom.
I wrote down lunchroom.
It used to be the lunchroom when they were in high school, but now the exact same space is called the dining hall.
I see. But yeah, this is like great. So we're in the dining hall, and Willow's talking about magic with Buffy,
right?
And like that's a thing, and
she wants to do transmutation and conjuring,
right?
Get closer to the primal forces. Sorry,
you're really into it, huh?
Yes, I love primal forces.
Yeah. She talks about all that exploration people do in college, and then Oz comes in. And they have this really, and I wondered in the writing of the episode if they went so hard on the Oz one-liners in the previous scene to like counter to this, because this is some real Oz shit. Like we get mostly one-liners from Oz, And then this episode, he has two scenes where he gets Very
real serious.
Very serious. And I am here for it. I am here for Oz having many layers, just like our beloved Cordelia,
long may she
her
reign.
soul. And yeah, he's just like, I'm afraid for you. I'm worried about you. Magic, doing magic, conjuring things. It's scary. And he says like, I touched something deep, dark,
when I wolf out, and it's not fun. And that is kind of the first that we've heard about like Oz's perspective about wolfing out, which is really important for later in the episode.
Right. And we've seen that he gets upset, but he's more verbose about it in this in this episode. Then of course the serious scene is interrupted by a stock footage of Parker laughing with everyone.
Ma. I'm so handsome and carefree. I look like the 20-year-old version of the dad on My So-Called Life.
Wow. Nice. We're
roping in
this
the
is
shows.
like 90s shows bingo today.
Yeah. You've all won.
So the only other thing I want to talk about before we leave the lunchroom, before we collectively with Buffy leave the lunchroom in a huff, is what the hell is with her ponytail in this scene? Did you notice?
Buffy's ponytail?
Yeah.
Sure didn't.
Buffy's ponytail, it's like her hair is in a ponytail and then there's like one clipped extension. It's like, there's like, just go back and look. It's a horrible, they didn't do a good job.
Okay.
It looks better later. It's not a good ponytail for Buffy. You know that I'm on Buffy hair watch this season, so I'm not going to let anybody down. And I can't wait till next episode. Got a lot of hair coming up your way. Okay.
Meanwhile, Giles doesn't care about Halloween.
Giles is dressed up as cultural appropriation.
Yeah, Giles.
Dude. No.
Wow.
And this is one of two fucked up cultural appropriation costumes that we get.
At least two.
Actually,
two main ones that we noticed.
That's true. I didn't pay attention to every single costume, but two main costumes.
We're also playing cultural appropriation bingo this episode.
Yeah, we've got a lot of it. So Giles, take off the fucking sombrero, man. Buffy wants you to take it off because she can't focus. We all want you to take it off because we know you're better than that, dude.
Yeah, man.
You know what I do like about Giles?
His hanging little skeleton, or is it a Frankenstein?
It's a Frankenstein. And also his general enthusiasm for Halloween and his just waiting excitedly for trick-or-treater.
I don't know if you noticed that big bowl that he's ready to dole out. It's full-size candy bars. It's not fun size. You got to go to Giles's place.
Yeah, this Halloween.
Everybody hit up Giles.
We're all going to Giles's. I don't know if anyone saw this. I retweeted it on Buffering's Twitter, at Bufferingcast. But the Frank Lloyd Wright mansion is for sale.
Angel's Place?
Angel's Place is for sale. Vamp Mansion is for sale.
What's
$23 million.
Okay.
So,
hang on.
Right?
So if we all chip in
like how
$100,000 or $10,000 each.
$10,000 a piece.
Yeah.
Then is that right? Is that hell math? Did we just do some hell math?
Unknown. I won't commit.
Okay. Well, if we do, we can buy Angel's Mansion. Could you imagine if we could podcast from Angel's Mansion every week? It would be great. Every other week.
Yeah. Well, Laura and Brittany could podcast there too.
True.
I mean, they have more of a right.
Obligatory. So we're fundraising now to buy Angel's Mansion.
Yep. Send us
just a wee $23 million Kickstarter.
Yeah. And the property taxes on that are going to be
negligible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sure. Anyway,
the frat house.
Right. So the point of Buffy going to Giles is that she's desperately trying to stay away from the party because she doesn't want to see Parker and she doesn't want to meet anyone else. She's over it. She's over love. The end.
Yep. She just wants to kill stuff.
Right. And so then, we go to the frat house, a new frat house, Delta Monster.
Yes, that was the yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. So... Item of note, neither Kristen nor I were prepared to recognize this, but of the two dudes who are like setting stuff up, one of them is a Power Ranger.
Yes. One of them is, now here's the thing. So I wrote down in my notes, oh my God, it's the Black Power Ranger. And right. Well, what the hell did they do that to us for?
I know.
If you watch the Power Rangers, if you know the Power Rangers, they all have colors. There's pink and there's black and there's...
Right.
But they paired you know what I mean? Like, you can't say... What I mean in my notes is if in the library of Buffy the Vampire Slayer one day, all of my notebooks are there and somebody pulls out my notes and they're like, wow, Kristen, way to call the Black Power Ranger the Black Power Ranger. I was referencing
You're just trying to say that he's the Power Ranger whose uniform is black and has... What is the black? Is it a pterodactyl? Is it a stegosaur?
Ooh, I should know
Which
that.
Zord?
God, this really is 90s.
Right?
Fucking bingo this week. So yes, that's the guy that plays the Power Ranger who has a black costume and is also a black man.
Sick.
Wonderful. Nailed it.
So happy to see him. But we didn't notice that. Chris Farron actually pointed it out. Thanks, Chris.
Farron. Thank you, Chris Farron. There's a beautiful patriarchal comment here. They're setting up the haunted house so they can scare women into our arms. I wrote, fuck the patriarchy.
How many times did you write that this episode?
A few.
So Anya shows back up at Xander's house.
She sure does.
There's nothing that I like more lately than an Anya entrance because she's like, you should lock your door. I'm already inside.
I mean, Anya's just literally going for it every time she enters, which is why you're enjoying the Anya entrances.
Yeah. So you know what's really interesting? Okay, so Anya is so mad that after she and Xander had sex and she was like, I'm over you now. He was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
She's so mad. And what's really interesting to me about this in particular is that so much of Anya's interfacing with humanity is like very, very entry level. I'm basically a robot. How do humans function? But she somehow innately picked up on this like very, very human
yeah, good point.
behavior where we're like, I'm insecure, so I'm going to say what I think you want me to say, but I hope you don't want me to say it and that you like argue with me about it.
Right. And good point, first of all. And second of all, what I really liked also about this exchange is that Xander says, basically, I tend to accept the words people say at face value, which I feel like, is a really true Xanderism. It's a really, like Xander really he has taken everything Anya has said quite literally and has like just been like, okay, I guess you gotta go, bye. But I think it's like a Xander-y thing. So props to Xander for understanding who he is and saying it.
And props to Anya for declaring, it's been exactly 1 week since we copulated.
It's been 1 week since we copulated.
Great.
Well,
cool.
I'm going to go out here on a limb. I think this is going to be a great episode. It's really 90s up in this piece. Okay.
Anya, so quick reversal.
Yes.
Anya goes right back into her Anya-esque behavior and is like, I don't understand why you continue to associate with Willow and Buffy and Oz. You have increasingly less and less in common with them. You live at home. They don't. They're in college. You are not. It's like, Anya.
Right, but also says the former vengeance demon to the teenage boy. Like, you know what I mean? What's she playing? What game is Anya playing?
She's playing the Are We Dating? Is
Okay.
that what this is?
So I wrote down, Are we dating? And then I wrote, yes, Anya, with the step forward. And then I wrote yes again and I underlined it because
you're into that move.
It was really sexy. It was really sexy.
Coming around to my way of thinking, are you?
Listen, I have always loved Anya. I can't help it that Spike is just one notch above the sexiness for me personally. But I'm here for Anya, and I just am understanding why Xander is also here for Anya.
Yeah.
Good moves.
Great.
So Professor Walsh is wearing a vest. My note is nice vest, Professor Walsh.
What kind of vest was it? I didn't notice.
It was
like a folk art vest?
Yeah, it was like probably tweed, but floral tweed, like
okay.
It was like brocade. I don't know. It was Kate, where are you?
Yeah.
We're going to get to Kate later, but we're going to wait for the Halloween costumes for Kate. But yeah, just saying.
Okay, so like Buffy gets her head bitten off, but like, listen, you're going to miss the class and then show up at the end of class and be like, I'm here for my assignment, when you could just be like, Willow, could I have the homework?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, you want to know why it's here, Jenny? It's here to kick off what I believe will be a season-long argument between you and I, where I say, what the fuck, Riley? And you're like, oh, he's not that bad.
Listen, Riley.
Yeah.
Just... he has another button-down shirt.
Riley? Okay, here's my question to you, Jenny.
Yeah.
Because you've been like, to me anyway, you've been talking the fairly big game about like, you know what, Riley's a nice guy. Riley. And I just want to know, like, should Riley wind up being a part of this season past this episode? If you start to feel like Riley is a pain in the ass, are you going to admit to it? Are you going to cop to it? Are you going to be honest with us? Or are you just going to fight the good fight because you already made your claim?
No, I mean, I'm already rolling my eyes at Riley, but I can't, it's not fair. I can't talk about what exactly my point about
Sure.
Riley is right now.
Sure.
So
Okay.
I'm
fine.
at a disadvantage.
No, and we're not going to have it out right now. But I just like this scene. Some of my notes are, Riley, how the fuck old are you even with
right,
your
because he's like,
mansplaining?
I dimly recall my freshman year.
Yeah, he's like, he's just he talks to her like,
I think he's being charming.
you are full of shit.
No.
All right, you know what?
I think his
there's
like
2 Twitter polls this week. One's for the damn sexual tension award, and the other one is Riley charming in this episode?
I think
yes or no?
I think Mark Blucas, America's sweetheart, is is having a hard time with his dialogue because it's not great dialogue.
Oh, so now we're gonna blame the writers' room. Okay.
But I feel like he's just like trying to help and be encouraging.
You seem like the kind of person who's really hard on herself.
You don't think Buffy's the kind of person who's really hard on herself?
I don't think Riley is the kind of person who has known this woman for long enough
so you're
to give his
unwilling
fucking assessment
unwilling to accept that someone might be perceptive.
No.
Might be emotionally intuiting.
Hate men. Just kidding.
Okay.
Just kidding.
That was Kristen, just to be clear, not Jenny. I love men, especially hunks. Hunks, send your tasteful and safe for work headshots and ab shots.
You
to
wanted to say
Buffering the Vampire
you were
Slayer
trying
at
to say
gmail.com.
nudes, but not say nudes. You were like clothed nudes. Send your clothed nudes my way. No, I can't stand the attitude. I can't with Riley. Like
I just don't feel like he's being a great big jerk in this scene.
I think that he is embodying the bullshit that a lot of us have to go through all the time.
Men are victims of the patriarchy too.
Fine, and he is a big victim, and I can't stand it. Go away, Riley.
Big, strapping.
Can you make me a jingle that's
well built?
I have a request.
Broad-shouldered.
Shut
A-frame.
I have
colonial.
Colonial.
I switched over to architecture stuff.
I have a request.
Yeah.
Can you please make me a jingle that's "Go away, Riley"? I would like.
No.
Yes, you can't
make your own damn jingle.
Okay, you know what? I will.
Oh yay!
I'm going to make my own jingle called "Go Away, Riley."
That's awesome.
Great.
Really excited.
Okay, my next note is in the frat party, or at the frat house, rather.
Yeah. Don't forget to paint a pentagram on the floor for your party.
No, because I know they didn't forget. My note is they ... peeled the grapes. Like, what fucking frat guy pulled out his peeler? First of all, no person in college has ever had a peeler. Ever.
No.
Not one person.
Also, how do you peel a grape?
How do you peel a grape? You know
how everybody always says that about the whole like dish of eyeballs thing. They're always like, peel the grapes.
Do you think you peel it with your teeth? Like you like eat it like corn on the cob, but you just eat the peel off?
No, that would yield not the shape.
You boil the do you parboil the grapes?
You know, somebody out there knows the best way to get.
Do you blanch them?
Somebody out there knows the best way to get a peel off a grape. Please write to us at bufferingthevampireslayer at gmail.com. And don't forget your clothed nudes.
Jenny, you know what's not fair is I'm the one who checks the damn email. And so now I'm going to have to look at all of these clothed nudes.
Okay, so you know what I really don't like about this scene?
Tell me.
I mean, many things, but I really don't like this frat guy being shitty to Xander.
Yeah, but you know what? You went to a SUNY school. Maybe everyone did this in their college in the 90s, or maybe I was just an asshole, but like townies was a thing.
Yeah, townies was a thing too. It's weird. Everybody said townies, but it's not like there were like people our age really nearby campus.
No, but like you would go, like if we went to a bar and like there were people there that were obviously from Binghamton and not from Binghamton University, like it would be like, oh, there's a couple of townies here, and said with such condescension.
You know, a good way to avoid having to like interface with that at all is just drink at your apartment on campus.
Well,
the bar was
not
in my
all of us
apartment.
were dating older women and living off campus.
What? No. Oh, no. My on-campus apartment where I lived on campus.
Oh, I see.
It was just, everyone was just partying all the time. Nobody left campus to get drunk.
We always went to the Rat. Was one of the bars, the Rathskeller.
Could you walk there from campus?
No, we would take a cab. The cabs at Binghamton, the way that actually I just had this memory. The way that the cabs at Binghamton worked, where you'd call a cab and every person just paid $2. No matter where you were going in Binghamton, no matter how many people fit in the cab, everyone paid $2.
Wow.
Yeah. And they would fill fill up some vans with $2 a head, people.
Wild.
And then you'd go, to one of the 2 bars in town that people were going to. Anyway.
Can I say something about townies?
Please.
The recording artist Mitski, who also attended SUNY Purchase, just like me, has a really great song called Townie that you should all listen to if you haven't heard.
Is it about a college bar townie? Like, is it about
I don't have any hard data, but if it is about a townie, it's about the same townies that I avoided interfacing with by drinking on campus.
It's like townie is... Townie, I think, is as much as like we were going to state schools, like I really feel like the word is rooted in classism. You know what I mean? Like,
totally.
Like it's totally these people don't have money, which like what the fuck, who had money? But like we were in college and they like weren't. But like
for some reason, because they were either too poor or too stupid.
Yeah,
is like the gross association.
Really shitty. But as a person who is waking. A word that I prefer these days over woke.
Wow.
Because
obviously because it's an ongoing process.
But
did you just pull that out of the air right now?
No, I was thinking. I saw Roxane Gay speak when I was in New York City recently, and I can't remember. I don't think she said it. I think somebody who asked a question said it, and it really struck me. They didn't say waking. They said like that they didn't like to use the word woke because it signaled an end, or maybe Roxane Gay even said it herself. I don't know, but I just took it and I've been thinking about it, and now I'm delivering to you the results, which is that I agree and think it's a process, right?
Absolutely. So, that's why I thought people tend to say, if they're thinking about it, they say like stay woke instead of like I am currently woke, but my finished state.
Right. So anyway, as a person who is waking, it's horrifying sometimes to think about the things that we did when we didn't know. And that was one of them.
Yeah.
Happily just a classist college student rolling my eyes at townies.
Yeah. And meanwhile, your watcher was putting on a totally inappropriate outfit.
And I'll tell you,
calling it a Halloween costume.
Would have had no idea that it was inappropriate then either, because that's where I lived in the 90s as well.
Sure, we're all on a journey.
We are. So then Oz shakes his blood all over the floor, which is rude. God. Also, I have a note later, but it's applicable at any point. This is way too clean for a fraternity house. This house is clean, and as we go through it, there's like art pieces on the wall. Like, I'm sorry, no. Where's the Klimts?
Yeah,
what I
should be all Monets and Klimts.
Support for today's episode comes from OneSkin. And if you have sensitive skin, you're going to want to hear about their scientifically proven topical supplements. Free from over 1,500 chemicals and preservatives that can make skin red, irritated, or itchy, their products are safe for sensitive skin. It's just one of the reasons they've earned the skin-safe seal of approval.
They've also earned the Jenny Owen Youngs and Kristen Russo seal of approval, if I do say so myself, Jenny.
I couldn't agree more. I've been using OneSkin for a few months, and after a few weeks, I remember it like it was yesterday. I texted Kristen, and I was like, maybe she's born with it. I looked in the mirror that morning and was like, oh, things are happening, and I am happy.
I have used a million billion skin products, and I did not think that I was going to switch off of the skin like lotion, the moisturizer that I used, and the under eye cream that I use, because I have used them for a little while and I really like them. And I've switched completely, which is a pretty big deal. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company. By focusing on the cellular aspects of aging, OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer. Get started today with 15% off using code BUFFERING at oneskin.co. That's 15% off at oneskin.co with code BUFFERING. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them, and if you can, please tell them that we sent you.
As a podcast network, our focus is bringing you shows you love to listen to. But we also sell merch related to those shows. And partnering with Shopify has made that both possible and simple for us to do. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor adventures, Shopify helps you sell everywhere because they've got you covered, from their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system. What's so fantastic about Shopify is how, no matter how big you want to grow, they provide everything you need to get control of your business so you can take it to the next level. Businesses that grow, grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm. That's all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/realm.
Hello, I'm Simon Jack.
And I'm Sing Sing.
And together we host Good Bad Billionaire, the podcast exploring the minds, the motives, and the money of some of the world's richest individuals.
Every episode, we pick a billionaire and we find out how they made their money.
And then we judge them. Are they good, bad, or just another billionaire?
Good Bad Billionaire from the BBC World Service.
Listen now wherever you get your BBC podcasts.
So then where do we go? We go to the sliders.
When Oz's blood hits the pentagram, it's important to notice that a rubber spider magically turns into a live tarantula!
Just like in the episode. Now, here's a parallel for you.
I'm ready.
This is, because I already drew this parallel, but I didn't realize the spider was part of it. This episode is a lot like Nightmares in its like through line, right? And the spider is a thing, because that's the first thing that happens in Nightmares too, is the kid opens his book or whatever.
Right.
There's a spider. But the thrust of the episode, sorry I said thrust, is all their fears, right? It's like Xander is invisible.
Right, Buffy's a vampire.
Wait.
That was in Nightmares.
I was like, what did I miss in this episode?
Sorry.
No,
it was clowns for Xander in Nightmares. Buffy is a vampire in Nightmares, but
Buffy's a vampire?
Yeah, don't you remember we see Buffy in Vamp Face?
I just remember that she's really afraid of...
Oh, and Willow's has to sing in the opera?
Yeah. And Cordelia's in that episode. Okay, anyway, this episode, it's like Xander's invisible. Nobody can hear him.
Yeah.
Oz is turning into a werewolf.
Yeah,
Willow's
yeah.
magic gone wrong. Buffy's being grabbed from below by like hands that are telling her to just give up the fight. And so it's, it's like graduation, post-graduation nightmares. Like everybody's nightmares are a little bit more...
developed.
Yes,
mature.
A little bit more mature, but it's got a similar theme. So thank you for calling out the spider thing, because I didn't realize
Here to help. Now.
Joyce's hair on point, right?
Yeah. It's floofed.
It's floofed to the high heavens. And Joyce, I beg to differ with this character choice. I do not fucking see Joyce Summers owning a sewing machine and sewing.
Really?
I don't see it.
I saw it with my own two eyes. So Buffy is 18, and what did she say that the last time Buffy wore this cape?
6 years ago.
She was
12.
Okay, I guess you would want to like adjust your cape.
Yeah, you grow a little
18.
bit from 12
Fine.
to 18.
Okay, I accept it.
And Buffy has this moment, this divorce. We don't hear a lot about Buffy being the product of a divorced household.
Right.
But Buffy really goes for my feelings about men are rooted in my feelings to my dad, and everybody leaves when you love them.
She says, open your heart to someone, and he bails on you. Dad.
Yeah.
Angel.
Parker. Giles, that one episode, but then you were cool and you came back, so now I know you love me forever, Dad.
And Joyce is like, I'll always be here for you because the matriarchy. Clashing of scimitars on the Amazon island.
Wow.
Tight, right?
Yeah, that's pretty good. So Joyce really goes for this moment here where like Buffy is saying that she's going to like lay off men, but then Joyce does a curious pivot to not making any friends her first year in the neighborhood, but then
she met Pam.
But, I'm sorry.
I mean Pat.
Who's Pam?
Pat. I'm sorry, Pat.
Yeah.
The blessed memory of Pat. I never meant to defile you. I love you still.
Right. So Joyce essentially is like, I understand what you're saying about boyfriends. I didn't make any friends, but then I met Pat and like, whatever, tee-hee-hee.
Delicious empanadas.
And then she's like, also, I'm still a little gun shy. Excuse us, Joyce.
Whoa.
After I dated that robot. Hey-o, Ted reference. You know what I mean?
Ted.
Miss you, Ted. Just kidding. Don't miss you ever. And also... she gets it all. It's like all in here, right? There's a reference to her neighbors and friends, which is Pat, who is the first person that she slept with after her divorce. Then
Kristen!
What? Just facts. And then she references Ted. Actually, I can't actually remember the chronology. Maybe Ted came before Pat.
Ted did
not
come before.
Literally, because he was a robot.
Oh, sick. But Ted was season 2, like episode 12 or 11, and Pat is Dead Man's Party, which is 302. I think,
but who knows when the trysting began? So
when the first empanada was Bake-a-Death.
My chronology is Pat and then Ted, and then she also gets a reference to Giles in here.
I missed that entirely. She's just like, you have your friends and Mr. Giles,
right? Which I'm sorry, you still call him Mr. Giles?
Maybe that's what he's into.
Maybe that's right. That's what. Thank you for getting
Daddy
there.
Giles.
Daddy. Oh God. We're going to get real Daddy Giles in a little bit with a fucking chainsaw.
Fucking yeah.
But first, let's go back to the frat house. They must, so I wrote this note that they must not be able to, and of course they're not able to do costumes that are like cultural references, like
SpongeBob SquarePants. For example,
or one
first trademarked thing I could think of.
For one example, the reason I thought of it is because there were a lot of like black hooded costumes with like skeleton masks, and I was like, please, like nobody would be wearing a Scream mask to this party.
Right.
Scream was 96, this party's in 99. People are still wearing Scream masks to Halloween parties. And then I realized, they're all in kind of like generic costumes.
Yep. Red Riding Hood, a tux,
a lobster,
Joan of Arc, a lobster and a present having a fight.
Yeah. I'm going to post a picture of myself dressed as a present one Halloween.
My God, do I have any Halloween? No, I just have like Catholic school uniform pics.
Come on, Jenny. Those weren't even costumes. Those weren't even Halloween costumes.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like the only vaguely costumed thing I have is
one Halloween, Jenny and I forgot costumes, and so we went as straight up ghosts under sheets.
Well, yeah, but then halfway through the party, we changed them into togas, which I felt like was pretty progressive. Also, remember that time we were X-Files?
Yes. Did we ever talk about that on this?
I don't think we have.
How did we not talk about that in Halloween?
That was your idea, right?
Yeah,
or was it Allie's?
No, it was my idea.
We were here in LA staying, but when we lived in New York and we were totally unprepared. And Kristen was like, we should just I'll get 2 manila folders.
And we'll be X-Files. Well, I actually think I said, are X-Files actually files?
Yeah,
because
you did.
I didn't know. And you said yes. And then I was like, I have an idea.
Yeah. And I drew like the X-Files logo on the manila folders. And then I made each one of us a very specific X-File. I was Eugene Toombs, of course.
Who was I?
You were Samantha Mulder. Oh. Fox Mulder's missing sister and our cat's sometimes namesake.
Spoilers for X-Files.
Sorry. No, you find out like in the first episode that his sister's missing.
Right, because that's why he believes in aliens. And Scully is like, fuck aliens. Science forever.
Yeah, she's like, I want to fuck some aliens.
Okay, so anyway... Then we get the second ridiculously horrible cultural appropriative costume.
Dreadlock hat.
Which is like, I knew a lot of fucking people with the fucking dreadlock hat. That was a thing that they sold at like Hot Topic or the place you got your incense. Like, it was just like.
The place you got your incense. Yeah.
But really.
No, I know. We all had a place we got our incense.
Yes. And you would get your tie-dye shirts and you would get your dreadlock hat.
God.
Which is.
If you were this guy.
Or like a lot of fucking people in the 90s. And you know what's horrifying is a lot of fucking people right now still.
Gross.
I was at the gym the other day and Family Feud was on. Why are you horrified?
I'm just really worried about where this is going.
Oh, nobody was wearing a dreadlock hat at the gym.
Okay.
But I was Family Feud, or not Family Feud. What's The Price is Right was on.
Okay.
And there's a current episode of The Price is Right. And like, they always call like people who have crazy things going on. And they called this bachelorette party and they were literally all wearing Giles' sombrero costume. Like every single one of them. And like, that's today. Like, it's not, everything's still fucked up.
First of all, bachelorette parties shouldn't be allowed.
Right.
Just across the board.
Wow. Says someone who had a bachelorette party. Just saying.
Anyway, while the Scoobies are walking around outside, they bump into some guys who seem to be dressed as military ski mask people.
There's a 90s NATO comment by Oz, always with the one-liners.
Yep.
Also, this is the famous, what I called the famous Oz tomb. It's the famous costume that Oz wears. You didn't get what Oz tomb?
No, I was like
tomb.
OZTOMB.
Right. So yeah, this is like so many people I feel like we've seen at like cons or like whatever that are just wearing their shirt and they
have a little god
name tag. Yeah, it's great. And everybody's looking good. Joan of Arc. is here.
Yep.
You know who's probably going to talk about Joan of Arc and who's definitely going to talk about Halloween costumes, Jenny?
Who's that?
Kate left.
Kate left?
Yes.
It's time for our friend Kate to give you the Buffy fashion update.
Well, welcome back to Buffy Fashion Watch, the scariest fashion update around. I love Halloween episodes of pretty much any show. Shout out to Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Bob's Burgers for doing one every single season. But this episode holds a special place in my heart. Buffy as Little Red Riding Hood with the crossbow, Xander trying to look good in a tuxedo, Anya in her fursuit, but nobody, and I mean nobody, tops Willow, alongside Oz, as Joan of Arc and God. Now, I'm not a religious person, but Joan of Arc was a pretty rad girl I didn't know too much about until recently. Did you know that at age 19, yeah, that's for anyone out there who thinks they haven't accomplished enough at their age, she was burned at the stake. Under orders of the king, she helped get coronated. Seriously, with no experience and supposedly guided by the voice of God, she led armed forces on a white horse to drive out the enemies of France and get this guy, Charles VII, on the throne. Successfully. Then he let her get captured right outside his city gates by the English while defending him. She was imprisoned for a full year at age 18. Again, so young. Rough stuff. And nobody tried to negotiate her release. Not even the king that she got crowned. He was like, nah, people are saying she's a witch. I think this might be bad for my image. So just let's kill her, I guess. If you think about it, it's pretty much what the movie 9 to 5 was about. A work of genius, by the way. At any rate, Willow looks fantastic in this episode, and her hair is really doing some good stuff. Happy Summerween. I'll see you at the mall. MAUL. Get it?
That was our friend Kate. She gave you the Buffy fashion update.
Oh my good. MAUL mall and Summerween are some of my takeaways from that, Kate. Wow.
Some of my takeaways were like, history lesson, reminder to watch 9 to 5 again. Wow, what a fantastic, this fashion watch had everything. Spooky, haunted, laughing, all the things we already said, plus Kate.
It's true, it really had so much. And of course, the Scoobies gave us very good costumes to talk about.
Also, Xander still looks great in a tux.
Yeah.
My preferred Xander looks are tux or Speedo. Give it to me all or give it to me almost none.
In your Xander doll lineup, you have Speedo Xander.
And tux 007 Xander.
Yeah, 007 Xander. I agree with you. He does look very good in a tux.
And also, Anya's coming to the party, but she's having trouble finding a scary costume.
Oh,
so
I wonder.
Meeting them there.
Wonder what it will be.
I can't wait to find out.
So then we go to inside of the house
and it's scary murder chaos.
Scary murder chaos. And then we get this slow-mo fall by the cultural appropriative. So like, that's fair.
Yeah. You know how sometimes you're just like a young 20-year-old nubile, just generally healthy looking dude, and then you trip and fall down the stairs and then you die.
But also, like, if you go and watch the way he falls down the stairs, he's like falling, and then it's like my neck hit the stair and is turning at an angle. It's like so very dramatic the way he falls.
And then we hear the very first, release me.
Yes, very good, Jenny.
Thank you.
Very good. Then they come into the house, of course, and no one's there. And that's our first,
it's empty and calm. And we're like,
what's going on in this house? So this house, let's talk about this house for a second, right? Because this house is definitely a character in the episode. The house is has a door, then it doesn't have a door. It has a window, then it doesn't have a window. There's a lot of stuff happening with this house, and it reminds me of something, Jenny. Do you know what this house reminds me of? A book you recommended to me.
Oh, does it remind you of House of Leaves?
Yes, the House of Leaves. And if you're a fan of horror, if you like to be scared, so fucking scared you might never sleep again, and you haven't read, what's his name, Daniel?
Mark Z. Danielewski.
Oh, that's where the Daniel is in the end. House of Leaves. It's a brilliant book. I know some of y'all out there have a book club in the secret Patreon Facebook group. So maybe you just want to consider when we get to the actual Halloween, popping that on your list. It's a big one. You need to give yourself a minute to read it. But
Yep.
It's so fucking good and it's so fucking scary. And this house is reminiscent of that house, I think.
Hell yeah. Well reasoned.
Thank you.
Okay, so listen. It's the roast of the frat house because Oz is like, those cobwebs might be real.
Also, Oz pulls a Kristen and defends Willow from the spider, a thing that I have oft done for Jenny. Oft rescued. How many spiders have I rescued you from?
So many.
So many. And then you know what I have never rescued anyone from, nor will I ever?
A pool of blood.
Sure.
A skeleton.
Yes. And also bats.
That stock footage, though.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It is so bad.
So the bats fly, the release me happens, all this shit happens, and then who shows up to the fucking party?
Anya in the scariest costume she could find.
It's so good.
It's straight up like Easter Bunny at the mall bunny suit.
She's straight up Christmas Story bunny costume.
Yeah.
Like the ears and all. She looks so great.
So great.
And then, no door. We already talked about that. No window, blah, blah, blah. There's a great little line inside the house again now. Because something I want to call out is that this episode, I think, is the longest we've ever spent in one place in an episode.
Oh.
Because when I take my notes, I sort of write where we are. And that's how I noticed this, that we are in this, almost the entire episode is somewhere inside of this frat house, which is not common of Buffy.
Yeah, you know when the last time a similar ratio of in one place to not in that place might have happened? The last time we had a Little Red Riding Hood reference.
Which, that's another thing.
Helpless.
Which is Helpless. That's true. Inside of a house with Little Red Riding. Maybe every time we get Little Red Riding Hood, we get one scene, one extended scene. Anyway, inside the house, Buffy has a moment where she says, Oz cuts the music and she says, "Thank the Lord." And he turns around and he says, "You're welcome." I like it. I like it.
Oh, also, we didn't mention that when Anya rolls up, she's like, "Where's the door?"
Right.
And then she looks up and sees a girl screaming in the window, and then the window blocks itself up.
Yeah, so she's like, "Xander."
Yeah, exactly.
Xander's in that house.
Amazing.
And clutches her bosom and runs to Giles. Other things that happen in the house, though, before we get to Giles' house are that Chaz is in the closet, terrified, and is saying, I did this thing, I've released this thing. It's really scary. There's a couple of, real moments of fear.
Yep. And then a plastic skeleton turns into a real skeleton, and it thrusts a knife into Buffy's shoulder with all of its skeletal strength, which thankfully is not too great.
And then the closet disappears, which is also creepy.
Yeah. And also, Buffy's like, "Let me get my picnic crossbow out of my picnic basket."
Yes, I'm here for that. I'm here for the Slayer carrying her crossbow in her.
Crossbows are so stupid.
Aw, but they're convenient for a picnic basket, you know?
I guess.
I don't know. Anyway, we go to Giles' house, and Giles, I love me a Giles and Anya scene anytime I get one.
A+.
Of course, she's like, "We've got to get Xander." He's like, "And the rest of them." And she's like, "Who cares? Xander."
Yeah.
Also, Giles has a nice bookish moment of matter and reality distortion. He goes
and he goes to his shelf.
He goes to his shelf to get his chainsaw. We find out later. We think he's going for, you know what? And let that be a lesson. Never underestimate your local librarian, folks. You know,
hot dad with a chainsaw. Dad with a chainsaw.
Before we get to Dad and his sexy chainsaw, Willow and Buffy get in a fight.
This is so intense.
It really is. I don't remember them fighting this intensely for a minute or forever. This is intense.
Yeah. Willow's like, "I want to help. I want to do a spell." Buffy's like, "You guys go, and I'm going to stay because I'm the one who does that.
I'm the chosen one, blah, blah, blah." And Willow's like, "You're not the boss of me."
She's like, "I'm not your sidekick."
Yes.
Which is, I think, the first time we've heard her say that, and the first time maybe any of us have been like, wait, is she?
Right.
Forced to think about, is Willow Buffy sidekick? Isn't kind of everybody Buffy's sidekick?
Aren't they? But then, like, are they? Because we keep seeing Willow get more and more powerful with with her Wicca.
Although Buffy's quick to point out that her spells are 50-50.
So's your face. So's Willow. Always good with the
very
retort.
effective. Very effective. And over the course of this, it's becoming very clear that nobody can see or hear Xander.
Right. And then Oz is turning into a werewolf. And this is, I asked Jenny while we were watching the episode if this was the first time that we saw this, because we spent a good portion of season 3 making horrible fun of the werewolf costume. But this is like getting real good now. This is some real good shit. And if we've seen the face, Jenny pointed out, I think you said that.
We've seen this stage of the transformation, like where it's like, practical effects and it's just like makeup and hair and stuff. And like weird contact lenses. But we haven't really seen Oz act in that state because he's usually changing very quickly. It's usually just like one very quick part of a metamorphosis.
And this is right before the second scene that I was referencing where like Oz gets these 2 very real scenes where he's in the bathtub. I mean, he wolfs out on Will, like he scratches Willow and then runs, and he gets into the bathtub and we see him saying like, you're not going to turn, or whatever it is that he's saying over and over again. And it's like, I don't know, I just feel like it's the most real we've gotten with Oz, like into his psyche, what it is to live in his skin and to change and to touch this deep dark thing that he touches and to not have control over it, to know that he could hurt the ones he loves. Like it's just all very, very deep and dark, just like he said. Oz does not tell a lie.
Yeah.
So Oz is a werewolf. Willow is really mad. Xander's invisible. There's a great moment where there's a head in the hallway and some blood starts pouring out of its eye. And then Willow does her spell.
Now, do you think that even if she hadn't had a moment of indecision that the spell would have worked?
Yeah, I think this is like a Final Destination situation. Where like, where
it's all about the papillon share, papazon share, platypus share.
Papazon was correct.
Papazon?
Papazon, yeah.
Well, what is, aside from being French for butterfly, what's papillon all about?
I don't know.
Papillon. When I saw Jewel, it was on the Papillon tour. Papillon tour.
My God.
I don't know how to say the vowel. I'm sorry.
Wow, Jenny. Well, no, I just mean to say, really staying on this hot 90s episode. I think actually Final Destination is the early Audies, as Joanna and I called them last week.
I didn't like
2 weeks ago.
But I guess what else are you going to call them?
But I think it's the kind of thing where like your fear is going to manifest, There's not a way you can get around it. Your fear is going to manifest. So like, if Willow wasn't indecisive, something else would have happened to make her spell go wrong. But her spell goes wrong in a pretty terrifying way. It's kind of like those bees in that other episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer at the high school. Remember? I Only Have Eyes for You?
Bees.
Is that the name of the episode? I Only Have Eyes for You? Wow.
Why were there bees, though?
Because the bees kept them away from the school, remember? So that they could play out their scene.
Hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, Buffy falls through a door into the basement where Broken Neck Guy...
Now, is that the same guy from before?
Yeah, that's the guy that fell, but he's all distorted because his neck is broken.
He fell. Okay.
Which is, I think, effective makeup job.
Yeah, definitely
here.
creepy.
Really good. We have something on our list. We haven't had a ton of guests, although holy shit, 2 weeks from now on Beer Bad, we are going to have so many amazing guests.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just talk about it for 1 second since I said it. We're going to have Heather Hogan, who has been on Buffy before, who's been on Buffering before, but has never delivered her knowledge of beer as hard as she's going to bring it.
Scholar.
Yes. We're going to have Louis Peitzman. I didn't ask Louis how we pronounce his last name, so sorry if I'm saying it wrong, who works at BuzzFeed and who is a monster Buffy fan and hates Beer Bad.
Yeah.
Is going to be on the episode. And also Kathy, too, one of the 2 hosts of Nancy.
Hell yeah.
Is also going to be guesting. So we've saved it all up for all of our hot guests coming to Beer Bad. But My point being that I would really love to have somebody who does the makeup for Buffy.
You know, we actually
on.
met somebody who did makeup at Justin Pierre's wedding.
Oh my God.
Do you recall?
I do. The most famous makeup person of all.
Yes.
I do remember now that you say that. So let's check missed connections for Justin Pierre's wedding. See if we can find that person again.
You just trying to do your job. Us really stoked that you worked on Buffy the Vampire Slayer that one time.
Anyway, Giles is here with his chainsaw.
Hot.
Yes, really hot. Anya is nervous about Xander bouncing up and down in her bunny costume, which is real cute. Giles is like, there's no door. Don't fucking worry about it. I'm gonna...
He makes a door.
His drum
wherever
roll,
he goes.
His drum roll chainsaw.
Yeah, sorry, I don't actually know what a... What do chainsaws sound like? I'm actually just realizing I have no idea.
Something like that.
Maybe no, but that's like more of like a motor starting or something, isn't it? Or like, does a chainsaw start with like a putt-putt?
No, it's
ramp
like
up?
it's like yes, that, and then
You're
again
pulling on the thing, and it's like
yeah, and then it
like kicks in. I'm not gonna stop doing it because I feel pretty dumb. But
right. A moment that we have in the basement with the broken neck guy is like, I think...
Oh, he uses her words.
Yes.
And it's like, ah ha ha.
Right. He's like, and he says like, no matter how hard you fight, you always wind up in the same place. I don't see why you bother.
Yeah.
A constant question.
Definitely stuff that's coming from inside of her.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. And then... Giles, okay, so now we're upstairs, they're at the pentagram, and they're realizing, Buffy's realizing, like...
Our fears are feeding it.
Our fears are feeding it, and also, like, no, this isn't good that we've all been led here.
Oh, right.
And this is
to
bad.
A centralized location.
And Giles breaks through. Now, in my heart, in my dreams, for us on social media this week, I will get a side-by-side for us of Giles in silhouette in the doorway with a chainsaw.
And Buffy and Faith
yes!
in silhouette when they go to kill that vampire.
Yes! It's like very similar lighting and hot all the way around. So I'm going to try to get that for us.
Imagine if he'd been in the middle. No, don't imagine that.
Oh, no.
That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. Just like for cool silhouettes. Symmetry. Anyway.
Take it away. We don't want.
What?
No.
Anyway, Giles is here with a chainsaw. It's hot.
Yes, it is very hot. There's this great moment where Giles is like, destroying the mark of, and Buffy just destroys
punches it.
And he's like, is not one of the ways that you
want to do this. And in fact, will immediately bring forth the fear demon itself.
And what's the name of the
Gaknar,
of course.
Luckily, Gaknar is about the size of a can of beer.
Unluckily, Gaknar has the same fucking fruit punch tiny little mouth hole as the fucking master. And I'm not here. Why does this always happen to me? Why does the show make me look at tiny little puckered holes that have red around them?
I am so upset right now.
Yeah, you should be. Because why do they make me do it? I wrote in giant letters, tiny fruit punch mouth, why? Big overture, little show, says Xander, which is the line I love. And I'm just going to stop us here for a moment so we can listen to Gaknar. Is that his name? Gaknar's first words, because I think it's real fun.
This is Gaknar? Big overture, little show. I am the Dark Lord of Nightmares, the bringer of terror. Tremble before me. Fear me. He's so cute.
Yeah, so if you ever want to do an impersonation of Gaknar, you just suck in some helium from a balloon.
Yep.
Deliver your first fearful line.
And then get stomped on by a vampire slayer.
Yes, and you know, sorry to make this like I shout out all the lines, but there's some really good lines in this scene, or like lines that gave me a chuckle. When it comes to slaying, Giles says, and then Buffy says, size doesn't matter, which I feel like is cute. Cute little reference to penises. Great.
Oh, love cute references to penises. Thanks, Kristen.
Cute little penis reference. And then and then right, she steps on him. Squash, splat, which has to be unpleasant. It's how I feel like I never want to step on a cockroach, you know? Because it's like too much of a splat. Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Okay, so
And then we go to Giles' house. We've defeated the tiny demon.
We get the most important moment in the episode for me, which is Xander looking, out of the corner of his eyes at Anya, being like, "So this is your scary costume?" And she's just like, "Bunnies frighten me."
Yeah.
Like it's the most reasonable thing.
It's really good. I hope
love it.
I hope someday we get to hear more about Anya's fear of bunnies,
Fucking
Seems like an interesting character choice.
Expand that info.
Please. And then we get this like bump at the end where they're like, "Oh, I noticed it says actual size." And then it just like cuts to black and we're out. And we did it.
We really did it.
Is it the second Halloween episode? Or
I think so. I think it's just been this and the one with Ethan Rain. Oh yeah,
Halloween. There was not a Halloween episode in season 3? Isn't Halloween in season 2?
Yeah. So they just weren't
yeah, we looked it up.
Nothing happened.
I panicked, but yeah, I guess
on Halloween in the season
they were
between.
too busy doing lesbian subtext to care about Halloween.
You're going to say lesbian sauna fetishes.
I wasn't, but what a great way to transition to the way we like to end these episodes, Jenny, which is by talking about
Sexual Tension Corner.
Yeah.
Sexual Tension Award.
So who won last week's listener poll?
2 weeks ago. We're so not used to the fact that we do this.
Right. 2 weeks ago. Last episode.
Our last episode. Thank you so much for asking, Jenny. The winner, taking 40% of the vote, was Anya and sexual intercourse.
Hell yes.
Yeah. Taking 34% of the vote.
Whoa.
In second place was Harmony and Blondie Bear.
Tight.
And I have to say that, you know what? As much as I want Anya and sexual intercourse to win everything, I personally was a voter for Harmony and Blondie Bear because they had some real great sexual tension.
They did.
I think people may have not voted for them because Anya, and also because they copulated, if you will. You know what I mean?
I will.
Some people don't like when we give sexual tension awards to people who have had sex because they feel that there cannot be
the tension still exists.
I agree.
You might not.
I agree.
There's another. Okay.
Then 18% Xander and his juice box, and taking a mere 8%. Poor Devin and his crop top. They really 3 people were like, yeah,
into it.
So Anya and
Trophy's in the mail.
I don't know how we mail a trophy to sexual intercourse, but we'll do some research.
Everybody, the next time you encounter sexual intercourse, if you do,
let it know it's won a trophy.
Yes,
probably many.
Okay, now the nominees for this episode. Heck yeah, we're going to have that Twitter poll up at BufferingCast. So please cast your votes if you have an opinion.
The poor people who find out about Buffering the Vampire Slayer in a year and they listen and they're just they can never vote and they want to, but it's over. Okay.
But if you're with us in the moment now, please cast your vote for one of the 4 following options or go ahead and write in if you feel like we missed something. A legit sexual tension nominee, Xander and Anya.
Yes. This is real shit here.
Yeah, it's building. Okay, next up, Giles and the Chainsaw and All of Us.
Yeah, it's high contender.
A rare thruple nominee.
Yes.
Riley and Mansplaining. That's Kristen's nom.
Yeah, fuck you, Riley.
Jesus. People are just going to vote for him out of spite.
What?
Even
Why?
though...
Oh, you mean in the other poll that we're doing?
No. Oh, no. I mean, in this poll, they're going to be like Riley and Mansplaining because fuck Riley.
No, they're not going to vote.
Because you're rallying
the...
Okay. And fourth up, Joan of Arc and God.
Yeah.
Which seems blasphemous, but...
I think God gets it.
God gets it.
So, right.
God can get it.
So, place your votes. This is a democracy, unlike the country we live in right now. Wow, way to end it on a great note,
Hooray!
Kristen. Jenny, why don't you tell the good people where they can find you?
I will do exactly that. I'm Jenny Owen Youngs, and when I'm not watching Buffy, I am writing and recording music. You can learn more about me at jennyowenyoungs.com/buffering. You can hear some songs there. You can find out what I'm up to. And also, I just co-wrote a couple songs on the Panic at the Disco record that came out on June 22nd. I worked on High Hopes and Roaring 20s, and the whole record is great. And that's something that I've been up to lately, so you can check that out. Also, you can give me a shout on Twitter at Jenny Owen Youngs.
Yes, and I am Kristen Russo still. And I am still at KristenNoeline.com. That's KristinnNoeline. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at Kristen Noeline. You can learn about the work that I do with LGBTQ communities. Most recently, I saw so many of your wonderful, beautiful faces at the All Ages Pride Party in New York City. Thank you to those of you who I was on stage and I was and I have a website. It's called Everyone Is Gay. And people were like, yay. And then I was and I have a podcast called Buffering the Vampire Slayer. And people were like, ah! So thank you for bringing it. And yeah, you can, find out other things I'm going to be doing by following me in those places.
We still got to get you that KristinnNoeline jingle.
Where's my jingle, Jenny?
I'm working on it.
All right. Well, I'm going to work on my Bye Riley jingle, and you can work on your Kristen Noeline jingle.
Bye Riley. Bye Lee. Buffering the Vampire Slayer is on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at BufferingCast. And you can also drop us an email at bufferingthevampireslayer@gmail.com. Don't forget to attach your clothed nude.
Also, just this is mean. This is homophobia.
What?
You're being homophobic, Jenny, towards me.
Being mean to a person who happens to be queer is not homophobia.
Well, it is July now, but in the month of June, anytime anyone is mean to me, I call it homophobia because it's Pride Month. Okay, so speaking of where you can email us, you should send those emails in. Let us know. You know what? We never say this. Let us know where you're writing in from when you write us emails, especially if they're emails that we might talk about on mailbags. And we are going to be doing a mailbag this month in July for our Patreon supporters. I think it's the $10 patron level that gets the mailbags. And they're getting a video from Jenny and I, a Q&A video this month, and a mailbags. Really hopping over in that $10 level. So let us know where you're from. If you send us an email and you're not a patron and we use it in the mailbag, don't worry, we will email you specifically so that you get to hear our question, question answered. And that sort of segues into how you can support us. Patreon is a great place to support us. It's also just really, it's so fun and wonderful. You know, if you support us at any level, you get in the secret Facebook group, which is just hopping all the time. They've got book clubs, they've got watches, they've got not wrist watches, but they've got
Buffy watches.
Buffy watches. We just did a Buffy watch for Beer Bad just a couple of days ago.
Getting prepped,
it was
getting
super
pumped.
fun. And other ways you can support us, go to iTunes, rate and review us. Many of you have, but there's people out there who haven't. So go on over there and do that. It's helpful. And you can get merchandise. We have a hot 4th of July sale happening right now.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to, you can go on over to our store. You just go to bufferingthevampireslayer.com and click on shop. And right now you can get 15% off everything in our store by entering the code. So, okay, I had Jenny pause it because obviously I didn't have the code. I didn't think of the code yet because it's, June still. We're recording this. And Jenny has forced me to make the Halloween sale code clothed.
Halloween?
I mean,
Jesus.
The Halloween in July sale code clothed nudes.
That's CLOTHED. NUDES.
Clothed nudes for 15% off everything in the store.
Including our new mugs.
Yes, we have new Smash the Demon Patriarchy
Diner mugs.
They're
so cool.
Also stickers, and we've got some pre-orders up for beer koozies that say Black Frost on them. Which
that
really
means
fun.
anything to you?
Yeah, if that means anything to you. Also, if you know this, but if you're a patron of ours at the $10 level, you actually get 20% off our merchandise all the time. So,
heck.
Wham, bam. What else do we have to say? Anything?
You know what else we have to say?
We're going to see New York
real soon.
Real soon. We'll see you in a few days, New York. The show is sold out. It is going to be so much fun. We cannot wait to see all of your faces there.
Heck yeah.
If you have any ideas of how Jenny and I should dress for the show, let us know. We went as Faith and Faith last time.
That was a choice.
Yeah.
Should we just go? Well, I don't want to say anything about what happens in the episode.
Okay. Well, we can talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, off air.
But if you have any ideas, tweet them to us at BufferingCast. And until next time. I'm sorry, Jenny. That's your line. Go ahead.
Till next time.
Why are you so sad?
So maybe you should say it this time.
I did. I already said it, and you didn't, and you got upset.
I just shrieked. I had an emotional response I couldn't control. I wasn't necessarily upset. I was just reacting to unforeseen change.
All right. Well, then, until next time.
I feel like I had more to give to the awoo because I didn't say till next time.
Sometimes change is good.
I feel like a pumpkin. They're living it up in the sun till somebody cuts them, carving their hearts out for fun. 1 in a million. You made me feel like I was, but you're just a villain, making a game out of love. I try to shake you. Tonight I'm going out, but the curse on this party is not what I need right now. Halloween night, night I'm supposed to have off, but all these demons never know when to back off. They drag me down in the haunted house like I got nothing better to do on Halloween night, when all that I wanted is just to be haunted by you. Down at the frat house, everyone coming undone. Tarantula party, people screaming and covered in blood. Whatever your worst fear, it's coming to visit tonight. At least there's no demon reptile waiting for a co-ed sacrifice. Usually I drive a stake through and be sound asleep by 10. But tonight the evil is fucking around in our heads. Halloween night, night I'm supposed to have off, but all these demons never know when to back off. They drag me down in the haunted house like I got nothing better to do on Halloween night, when all that I wanted is just to be haunted by you. Palm of your hand. Sometimes you gotta put your fist through a pentagram. Halloween night, night I'm supposed to have off, but all these demons never know when to back off. They drag me down in the haunted house like I got nothing better to do on Halloween night, when all that I wanted is just to be haunted by you. When all that I wanted is just to be haunted by you. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. La da 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 da.
Hey. Here we are after the song. It's still me, Jenny Owen Youngs, but also I'm joined by the one and only Chris Farron.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here.
I was happy to be here.
Thanks for talking to me right now, and also thanks for writing the song that we just listened to.
Hey, thanks for inviting me to write it with you.
Literally my pleasure.
Me too.
So this is the third episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer you've ever watched.
Okay, so 1.
Reptile Boy.
2. The one you made me watch with you.
Yes, Graduation Day, Part 2.
Uh-huh. And then this one.
Yes.
Which was called, wait, hold on, don't tell me. Halloween Scary Freak Zone.
Yes.
Fear Itself, right?
Yes.
I figured it out because you went.
Yeah. Well, happy that I could help you sort that out.
Yeah.
Yes. So what did you think of this episode?
Well, I wrote a bunch of notes and then you made me throw them away.
I did. I burned them actually in front of you.
Right. So I don't remember. But I remember thinking that I was hopeful that all the monsters were going to show up. Mommy, Dracula, Swamp Thing, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Is that a Buffy thing? The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Why would that be a Buffy thing?
Because they're scary monsters, and
okay, first
Buffy
of
fight all the scary monsters? Does she not?
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are heroes on a half shell.
Oh, I'm
Turtle
sorry.
power.
I thought Angel the Dracula was a hero in this show, and the others.
Well, he has now since moved on to his own spin-off.
Right, but he's
Angel.
a scary monster.
Well,
and
it's
scary
complicated.
monsters don't have to be bad. Oh, and now I have one over on you, don't I?
Yeah, point to Chris Farron.
Thank you.
You're welcome. No, I mean, thank you.
Yes, and you're welcome.
So one thing that I thought about a bunch when you and I were talking about this episode, the last time you were on the podcast was when we talked about Reptile Boy in season 2, which is, of course, most of that episode takes place in a frat house.
Yes.
And most of this episode takes place in a frat house.
Well, because you come to me because you know that I am
You're the
frat expert.
Mm-hmm.
Frat expert.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever been to a frat party?
Oh, probably. Yeah. On tour, swing in. Maybe not. Almost definitely not. I've been to a party. Is that the same thing? And of course, I've been to many parties.
Yeah, no, I know you're
a party animal.
Yes, I have heard that
stuff. I walk in, I say, hey, and then everybody goes, whoa, it's him, he's here. And I talk to everybody, and I make eye contact with everybody.
Do you?
And I say, cheers, and then everybody goes, clink, 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 speech. And I go, hey, I'm here at the party, thanks for having me, and we're having fun tonight. And then the music starts, the DJ goes, and then I came to get down by Run DMC plays.
Okay.
And they perform and they're there.
Oh, gee, at every party you ever go to?
At the ones I've been to, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I guess they're just Run DMC concerts is what I'm describing.
That's not exactly what you're describing, but there's a strong Run DMC concert
Have you been to
component.
a Run DMC concert?
Nope.
Well then.
Nope. Okay,
learn
no,
from
you're
the
right.
master.
Okay, I will
do
that.
I've never been to a frat party, but maybe I have.
Okay, if anybody has any intel officially on whether Chris has been to a frat party or not.
If you are a fratern and you have seen me at your party or invited me to your party and I came, please write in buffering the vampire slayer
at gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
Okay.
Subject line, hey, I actually saw Chris at a party and it was mine and I'm a frat. Okay.
Okay. Another thing that I remember about your experience of this episode is that the frat house has a Halloween welcome mat that says "Hell Come."
Hell Come, yeah.
And you looked into my eyes
and
you said, "That's a great other name for lava."
Yeah. And
I just want to say gross.
What is gross about that?
You know what you did.
I do.
So, what do you think is the scariest Halloween costume you've ever worn?
Me, I won a first prize contest at my elementary school, first grade. I was the Grim Reaper, and I was
Spooky.
very scary.
Yeah.
Ominous. And I won a weekend trip to stay at the Holiday Inn.
What? Where?
Kind of close to where I live.
That is a weird prize for a kid in a costume contest.
At the time, it seemed really cool. I have no idea why it was a prize, but at the time, I was like, that rocks. This is so cool. I think when you're in first grade, you can win anything, and it's cool.
Yeah, you just feel like a winner.
Yeah. But I think the hotel also had like a slide, like a mini water park kind of thing.
Cool.
It was in Michigan, probably.
Sure, that's the place.
Yeah.
I was a shark one time.
Scary.
My mom made the costume. The open mouth is where my face was.
That makes sense.
Like a breaching shark. Just in perpetual breach mode.
Yeah. I was an orc. Orc?
An orc from like Lord of the Rings?
From Warcraft.
Excuse me.
Specifically, because I loved
Warcraft.
Warcraft. And then also it was Blanca from Street Fighter one year.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
I must have had
cool.
leftover green makeup from one of those years, whichever one was first.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm jealous.
Yeah?
A Street Fighter costume. That rocks.
I can send you a photo.
I wish that you would.
In the photo, I'm pointing to myself with my thumbs. It's very cool.
Great. Can't wait to get a little side-by-side of you and the genuine article from Street Fighter.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we'll post that on socials if
That would be
you...
great, yeah.
Yeah, I know you love attention.
I do.
What else? What else should we talk about? I feel like the direction of this song went in a particular way that's very different from the last time you worked on a song, which was for the Zeppo,
right,
which you produced out, which was very Chris Farron-y
yes,
in its production. And this song, you've been listening to a lot of Burt Bacharach.
That's true.
And that rocks.
I've just been playing chords like that.
Yeah. What's your favorite Burt Bacharach composition?
I think What the World Needs Now
is Love, Sweet Love.
Yeah, because it's like it's in a minor key, but it doesn't feel like it. And I'm
wow,
so
that's
interested
true.
in that.
Yeah,
that's so interesting to me when songs are in minor keys and they're not like they. Every time I've ever written a song in a minor key, it sounds like the Haunted Mansion song. And I can't.
What is the Haunted Mansion song?
It's like I don't know.
It's not.
I can't even.
When you say Haunted Mansion song, I just think of da-da-da, ba-da-da-da.
No, the one from Disney World. The ride.
It's a specific song that we would all recognize if we heard it, probably.
Maybe not, but it's kind of like I can't think of what the song is right now, but it's also kind of like Tim Burton Nightmare Before Christmas-y, just like like Tom Waitsy kind of like pirate-y type music.
I love all these adjectives. This is great.
And I like music like that, but I find myself feeling embarrassed when I make it myself.
Sure. You just want to croon.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Yeah.
Don't we all?
Yeah. I find it hard to not be playing like a character in a song when I'm playing a song like that.
So do you remember anything that happened in this episode?
Buffy, the Vampire Slayer.
Nailed it.
She was gonna have a day off.
Okay, yeah.
And then her friends invited her to a party.
Yes.
And they went to the party.
Uh-huh.
And because of some satanic rituals that were accidentally performed, the whole party has turned into a scary demon fright fest. And they go into rooms and they go, what was that? And then they realize it's a monster. And then they go into another room and they hear something else. They go, what was that? And then they realize it's a different kind of monster. And then they make it to the last room and somebody comes in with a chainsaw, saves them in a way. And then they're like, here's where the monster is. And he's a little guy. He's small. He has a very little high-pitched voice. And she smoshes him.
Smoshes?
She smoshes him with her foot.
Well, that was a great... That's basically... I don't think Kristen and I needed to actually record this episode. You kind of just got the whole thing in there very succinctly.
I'm going to start a competing podcast.
Like a 2-minute long.
Do that. Ha! You don't need to listen to this episode.
Please do.
Okay, I will.
Chris Farron.
Yes.
A pleasure as always.
Thank you.
You are like a cool drink of water on a hot summer's day.
That's nice.
Thank you for writing this song with me.
Thank you for having me.
Had a blast.
Yes.
Could you tell the good people who are listening where they can find more of your work and more of your face, your handsome, handsome face?
Online.
At
ChrisFarron.com. Sure.
And also on every social media platform.
Just my name, Chris Farron. Spelled like everybody spells everything.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. I've never seen I've seen people spell Chris in different ways, but I think there's the main way, and that's kind of the way I spell my name.
Wow.
What a lot of people say is the right way.
Okay.
Not me, I'm just here.
Sure.
And then Farron, you know.
I do.
You got it.
But just in case you don't know, it's Farren.
I know.
No, the yous who are listening.
The audience.
Bless them.
And hello, audience.
Okay.
And I love you.
Okay.
And I appreciate the follow.
Okay.
And then you will. And you did.
Okay. Thanks so much for joining us, Chris.
Thank
you are the best. Okay.
You are.
Hi, I'm Dana Schwartz, and this is Rise or Die, the official companion podcast for Peacock's original series, Those About to Die. On this podcast, I go behind the scenes with the show's cast and creators to learn how they brought their brutal vision of Rome to life. I talk to acclaimed director and executive producer Roland Emmerich.
When I saw the first race, I was like giddy.
Actor Joan Ryan.
For an actor, that's a dream, although you do get a lot of sand in your sandals.
And so many more.
You helped summon those ghosts back onto that stage.
Every day when I went to set, I was giggling about what I saw.
I think it's going to be a breathtaking thing.
People will freak out.
Rise or Die launches on July 18th. Watch or listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Burntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I uncover the blasphemous truth of a plague-ridden world, that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Burntwine, coming January 2nd, wherever podcasts are available.